This modeling report shows how a 132 scale English electric BAC Lightning fighter was made with the rare Echelon vacuform kit. This accurate vacuform kit was released in 1991 and is now quite rare. It has large vacuformed plastic parts but also provides casted metal detail parts and impressive large decal sheet for Royal Air Force Lightnings. This model will be made to represent a Lightning F6 Mark V 3K of the Kuwait Air Force with a bare metal scheme. The adaptation to this variant necessitates additional decal work which will be discussed later on. The initial steps in assembling the Echelon kit involve delicately wet sanding the substantial vacuform parts on a flat sandpaper surface to detach them from their plastic sheets. Mark the edges with black lines to prevent excessive sanding. The wing halves align snugly in slots with thick lugs. Inside the wings, supplementary vacuformed components reinforce the structure. The Echelon kit furnishes well-crafted cast metal cockpit components. However, a decision was made to enhance the cockpit interior with an Aries resin cockpit detail set 2108 designed for the trumpeter Lightning 1/32 scale kit. Although the Aries set is for a Lightning F3, only the primary instrument panel was adapted for this project. The Aries set encompasses a finely detailed ejection seat. A certain amount of the casting block necessitated removal, a task undertaken with protective gear due to the potential hazards of resin dust. Nitrile gloves and sawing beneath a running water source are recommended safety measures. The cockpit, hub and seat were airbrushed, with details meticulously hand-painted, guided by references and Echelon's instructions. Medium sea gray is the primary cockpit color. Fabricating the tail jet pipes was an intricate procedure. Thin sheeting was meticulously wound around a circular stick to craft the pipes. The cast metal exhaust rings and pipes were provisionally positioned pending final adjustments. The fuselage assembly process was tackled next. The front intake duct remains unglued to facilitate future alignment. Use strips within the fuselage halves to reinforce the bonds. Tape was utilized to secure the components during drying, followed by puttying and sanding. The two gun openings were drilled open as were several smaller ones. Join the wing halves with the fuselage with a slight dihedral as shown in the instruction drawings. The vertical tail, specific to the F6 variant, was set though the lower joints will be addressed during its installation on the rear fuselage top. Landing were still essential. This is a vacuform. With the main Lightning assembly completed, the ventral fins were made from thick plastic card, shaped according to the provided templates. Edges were carefully smoothed. Moving forward, stabilizers and landing gear doors were fabricated, though their installation will be done later on. The model received a base gray primer coat by airbrushing Revell Aqua 75 Stein Gray acrylic paint, establishing a foundation for subsequent layers. This step unveiled areas requiring further attention, leading to additional puttying and sanding. To attain profound metallic effects, the model was airbrushed with a glossy black with AK black primer and microfiller paint. But this yielded unsatisfactory results due to extended drying times, taking more than 6 weeks. I was very unhappy and will not use this paint again and turned back to my usual Revell Aqua Schwarz acrylic paint. The chosen Lightning F6 Mark V 3K of the Kuwait Air Force needed the development of custom 1/32 scale decals. These encompassed roundels, numbers, walkway lines, stencils with Arabic text. Designate these decals, and these were printed by a third party employing an Oki laser printer with white color capabilities. And back to the metal paint scheme. In the past I airbrushed many models fully with alclad paints. These however do really need you to ventilate the airbrushing room and would need complete bottles of alclad paints and a lot of time. So it was decided not to airbrush solely alclad paints but to first airbrush Vallejo metal color acrylics. The mixed approach was 1. Mask off any areas like the cockpit tub interior. 2. Airbrush over the base gray a gloss black coat. 3. Airbrush acrylic Vallejo metal color like aluminium 77701. The acrylic paint dries fast. 5. After a day polish the surfaces. To achieve some extra metal, use several light coats of alclad metal. Coats of high-speed silver and high-shine aluminium were airbrushed. Ventilate the room and wear a face mask. Mask off the different panels with low stickening post-it papers. This mixed approach will give the desired metal effect. The decals for the desired Kuwait paint scheme were now set. Other stencils came from the Echelon kit decals, which are really outstanding. Extra decal stencil set X32019. The Echelon transparent parts are clear acetate sheet. Unfortunately, there was a dent in the upper area in my canopy. This was masked, filled with putty and sanded and thus repaired. Vacuform canopies tend to yellow over the years. To get them clear, keep them in a glass jar with water hydrogen peroxide for a few months. They will clear up most of the yellow sheen. Canopy will be kept detachable and a few wires were installed at the rear that will fit in 2 small holes. The fuselage spine edge. A rear view mirror was added from a reheat etched metal set. Mating the windscreen is not a big issue, gaps were filled with white glue. Protect the surrounding areas and airbrush the anti-glare panel matte black. The undercarriages were now handled. The Echelon kit has very good casted metal parts including good-looking and accurate wheels. Inside the bays and on the gear legs hydraulics tubing was added made from JMC Hobby lead wire, which is flexible. The cockpit interior was further completed. The Martin Baker Mark IV BS ejection seat is also included in the Aries set as resin part and looks very good. This seat was probably used on the Mark 53 F6. It has a base frame of medium sea gray. The model got red top missiles which came from the Trumpeter Lightning kit. The missile pylon / stubs were made from thick plastic card and they have a slight nose-up attitude. The Mark V 3K F6 also could be fitted with big outboard wing pylons that could carry rocket pods and bombs, and these pylons were made from scrap and some appropriate bombs were found in the spares box. The final bits are now installed like arrestor hook, the stabilizers. On the front edge of each large main gear door a taxi light was set. The overall model was cleaned up and got a gloss varnish coat to protect the decals and give an sheen. Airbushed was Omega stand aqua gloss acrylic varnish. Shield off the windscreen and cockpit interior while airbrushing. The metal pitot tube of the Echelon kit was installed and detachable canopy set. The small Kuwait Air Force was formed in 1961. Following the British doctrine, it got British aircraft, like the Jet Provost and later Strike Master and BAC Lightning supersonic fighters. The Kuwaiti Air Force used 12 F-6 Mk-53K Lightnings along with 2 T-5 Mk-55K trainers. Deliveries started December 1968. The main facilities were at Kuwait International Airport. They later flew also from new bases, Ahmed Al Jaber and Jakra. They were hard to keep serviceable and the remaining jets were out of service in 1977 and replaced by the Mirage F1. More model details as well as more than 500 other models can be found on my website, aircraftinplastic.com. I hope you enjoyed this video.